pass.
Come back around.
The calls that we are receiving, they are a lot of large constrictors, 7 to 10 to 12 foot long. This year, I expect it to get worse.
Captain Gilson and his partner, Captain Chuck Seifert, agreed to demonstrate for Monster Quest how they capture these deadly predators. This is a 10-foot python caught on a recent call, and it's not happy. They try to subdue it by covering its head with this bag. But this python is intent on escape. They need to act fast.
He's pissed at me.
And as a last resort, Gilson abandons his tools for his bare hands.
Maybe I can get him to chill.
He needs to sneak up behind the snake, then grab it right below its head to stay clear of its jaws.
I'm gonna walk around this way, since he's fixated there. Come from behind him and grab him. He's got me.
The snake bites Gilson, clamping down on his wrist. He has no way to break free.
He's got a good hold on me.
Can you push it in a little bit?
Nope. He's got the vein, dude.
The snake is coiling around their bodies. Seifert has to use brute force to pry the jaws open, tearing the skin from Gilson's wrist.
Yep. He got me good, dude. Go get it, Ace. Yep. Yeah, it hurts like heck right now. They got real sharp teeth. As I approached him, my mistake was I didn't grab him close enough to his head. When I did grab, I slid back, and he was able to circle around. He came back on me and bit me in the arm. And as you can see, they got a full mouth of teeth. He got me with his inner and his outer teeth.
As Gilson discovered, a constrictor's jaws are one of nature's deadliest contraptions. Both pythons and anacondas have 6 rows of razor-sharp teeth that curve backwards like 100 individual fishhooks. The more the prey struggles, the deeper the teeth sink into its flesh. This snake was 10 feet long, hardly a giant. But if it was a giant, could it have killed and swallowed Gilson whole? Monster Quest has compiled this photographic evidence from the internet that suggests it could be possible. No one has come forward to say where and when these pictures were taken, but many are convinced that they are evidence of giant man-eating snakes. Now Bob Henderson and Ron McGill analyze this evidence.
In looking at this image, if you look at the ribs, they are facing towards the back, and that would be consistent with the snake swallowing from the head being this way towards the tail.
As demonstrated here with this python feeding on a dead rabbit, the head is the most compact and manageable part of the body for a snake to get its jaws around. That's why snakes always swallow head first. The same would be true for a human victim.
Now, what allows the snake to open its mouth very widely are special bones that it has back here. It's called the quadrate bone.
The quadrate bone at the back of the skull allows the jaws of the snake to drop straight down to open unusually wide. Then the separation between the 2 bottom jaw bones allows the mouth to expand even further, to 3 times the width of its own head. But Henderson isn't sure the snake in this photo has swallowed a person.
Just based on the size of the person and the fact that it doesn't seem to have any particular bruising or anything like that. Everything looks just very, very much intact for it to have been the victim of a snake attack and to have been ingested by a large snake.
A snake swallowing its prey is a slow but violent process. A snake has no limbs to push food into its mouth. Instead, it has rows of curved teeth that move independently, pulling the prey little by little into its stomach. The condition of this body appears inconsistent with that of a snake's victim. While we can't definitively say that it's a forgery, it does give us pause. This photograph, however, seems to tell a different story.
Now, this photograph here is more indicative of what I think could easily happen.
If this is the shoulder here and the arm here, this would have to be the head.
This photo was taken in 1995 by a policeman in Malaysia. He claims it shows a man lying face down with his head in its mouth.
I think the snake could have a real hard time getting around what looked like they might be fairly broad shoulders.
Prey species would bleed a lot from those wounds, and here you see that this snake has struggled. It has tried to go back and forth, trying to get over those shoulders, which is spreading this blood, spreading this injury.
Once the snake swallows this man's head, the shoulders could prove to be an insurmountable obstacle. The average width of an adult's shoulders is about 2 feet, but if the snake could get its mouth around the shoulders, nothing could stop it from swallowing a person whole.
A 30-foot python probably has the ability to open its mouth 2 to 3 feet wide. This would lead you to believe that, yes, it could swallow an adult human being. The best place to find these monster-sized snakes is going to be in the remotest areas of the world.
Back in Venezuela, Rivas extracts the musk of the anaconda he caught the night before. He believes the musk could contain pheromones that will attract other anacondas, hopefully a giant.
So maybe if this musk has a social function, with the camera traps, we might be able to find bigger, better, more anacondas.
Rivas positions and aims the cameras using the onboard laser sight. Each is equipped with a motion-sensing trigger and a flash. These cameras will capture whatever crosses their path, day or night. Now the team will test the sonar.
Cool. I can see him. I can see his arms, his feet. I can see how fat he is. Let me measure how fat he is. Almost half a meter. To lose some weight, buddy.
After the tests, Rivas heads into the field. This will be the first time such technology has ever been used to hunt for anacondas, and it could lead these researchers to the discovery of a lifetime. The biggest snake Rivas has found here was 17 feet. Could an even bigger anaconda, a giant, be lurking beneath these waters?
Ooh, there's something there right in front of us. Does look like a snake. Look, aguántalo, aguántalo. It really looks like a snake down here.
Around the world, legends are told of giant snakes measuring 150 feet or more, half the length of a football field. Anaconda expert Jesus Rivas and his team are on the hunt for just such a monster snake in Venezuela. On land, they've baited and set motion-sensing camera traps. Their search now moves to the water.
If an anaconda grows to be too large, it will be limited to deeper water. That's why I think that in these places, I might be able to find larger animals.
Visibility under this water is almost zero. But here, the Ditson sonar sees everything.
Oh, there's some fishes. A whole bunch of fishes, look. Alright, piranhas.
Then something much bigger appears on the sonar.
There's some shadow here. And I see the bubbles right in front of me, but I'm trying to see it under the water with the sonar.
What Rivas sees is the outline of a crocodile. And it's huge.
I can actually measure how big it is. It shows now about 3.5 meters long. That is 14, 15 feet long. Big girl.
Rivas continues his search for a giant snake. If he finds one, he may have to jump in to catch it.
The water is anywhere, I'm thinking, above my chest. It might not be very wise of me to get into the water. If the water is shallower, then I might try to give it a go.
Suddenly, a promising shape appears on the sonar screen.
There's something there right in front of us. Ooh, that looks like a snake. Look, look. Échale para atrás un poquito.
Rivas abandons the sonar to search for the snake by hand. But he can't feel it.
Adelante, Víctor.
What Rivas saw on the sonar was the dense aquatic vegetation on the river bottom, not a giant snake. The sun is setting, but he is undeterred. Like the sonar, anacondas can see in the dark, and they will remain active throughout the night. Back in South Florida, where the search for a giant snake continues, the day is also coming to an end. But that could be good news for biologist Joe Wasilewski.
As the sun goes down, the roads stay warmer, the snakes, pythons in this case, will begin to migrate across, and that's usually when they move is right after sunset and into the night.
His search begins to look even more promising.
This really is a good road. It's sort of secluded. There's a little bit of an orchard here. There's some nurseries, there's homes, and this is really perfect to find a python.
His intuition is right.
There you go. I think I see something. Yeah, wait. Hold on. There's one.
Wasilewski finds a wild python that most likely escaped from the Everglades.
Oh yeah, I got it. Well, this one, it's about 8 feet long and about as mean as a python can be. I'll tell you what, if this were one 15, 20, 25 feet in length, there's no way I could get it off. The power of these animals is just absolutely amazing.
Out of the Everglades and into this residential area, this python could prove deadly to anybody it encountered.
If this one were to coil around someone's neck, this snake could actually choke off your trachea and your esophagus and you could not breathe. Believe it or not, a snake this size.
The escalating presence of snakes this size could mean there are even bigger snakes migrating out of the Everglades.
The big ones are out there, there's no question about it. But your chances are, if you see a python, it's going to be one around this size, simply because of the numbers game. There's hundreds of this size to one or two huge ones. We think it's a young population, and in the next few years is when they're going to start getting to these really massive sizes. But could be right now. We could see a big one tonight, tomorrow.
A storm rolls in, and the rain puts a halt to Wasilewski's search. But the camera traps he set earlier could provide what he's hoping for: evidence of a giant snake in these neighborhoods. And back in Venezuela, Rivas presses on through the night and is startled by what he sees next.
Oh wow, there's a big guy right here. Right ahead of us, right there.
Could this be their giant? In the wild plains of Venezuela and in these South Florida suburbs, evidence of giant snakes exists. In Venezuela, this cowboy narrowly escaped with his life. And this man says his 13-year-old cousin was swallowed whole by a 45-foot anaconda. In Florida, escaped pythons are invading neighborhoods, feeding on pets, even taking on the authorities sent to capture them. So far, no one's ever been killed here by one of these escaped pythons. However, these photographs prove they've become giants, large enough to swallow alligators whole. And these photographs, widely circulated on the internet, could be evidence that they are man-eaters. Although they can't be authenticated, experts agree it could have happened.
I think if a 30-foot constrictor, an anaconda, a python did exist and it did come across a human being and it was hungry, there'd be nothing that would stop it from swallowing that human being.
History is filled with accounts of giant snakes, some over 150 feet in length. Can science now prove the existence of such a snake? In the wilds of Venezuela, motion-sensing cameras are keeping watch on land. And by the light of the full moon, Jesus Rivas continues his search of the waters.
Anacondas are very patient animals. If you want to deal with them, you just need to be just as patient as they are.
Even in the pitch-black waters, the state-of-the-art sonar sees everything. Rivas is hoping for a glimpse of the snake's distinctive coils. And he gets one.
Oh wow, there's a big guy right here, right ahead of us. Víctor, chequea esta bolita aquí que está aquí en el lado. Check this out, this really looks like an anaconda right here, right in this patch of vegetation. ¿Sientes algo ahí?
Is this a giant anaconda?
Víctor, aguántate. There's a really big thing right there. That is a big guy. No hay nada, pura bola.
But the shape disappears into the dense underwater vegetation. The team combs this section of the river again,
Por allá.
but can't find the
No
snake.
sientes nada, busca allá. Nada. No hay nada.
But there is hope. The sonar has recorded the entire search. And back at the ranch, Rivas can now analyze the footage. He'll also be able to review any still pictures from the motion-sensing cameras.
This was seemed like it took a lot of pictures.
The memory cards on the cameras are full. But windblown leaves, birds, and capybaras are all that set them off.
Not any snake, not any of the things I was looking for.
But the sonar images could prove to be promising.
There's a mysterious shadow. It looks like a curl about 5 feet across. It would be a big snake, but I can't really make out what it is.
A snake 5 feet across would truly be a giant. But what Rivas sees is just an illusion on the river bottom.
See, the aquatic vegetation really resembled anacondas. Many times I saw something, and when I checked it out in person, there wasn't anything.
Rivas remains convinced the eyewitness reports here are true, and he'll be back to search again.
I have heard a few stories that I have no reason to disbelieve, and they all report anacondas significantly larger than what I have caught. So whether they can grow larger, yes, I believe it's possible. I'd love to see it.
Back in Florida, Joe Wasilewski captured this 8-foot-long python in a residential neighborhood. Now, for the first time, he'll check his motion-sensing cameras for evidence of even bigger pythons leaving the Everglades behind.
Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, there's the dog. So the camera does work. Whoa, look at that. Wait a minute. That's the whole snake. Wow. Now that is a great shot. There's the head, the tail. That thing is at least 12 feet long.